Hi everybody, and a big welcome to a Kinnan deck tech video here with Danny, who came top 8, I believe.
Yes, top 8. I came 5th overall.
That's great! In a tournament with 92 participants from the tournament KaOs in the Nexus. So how did Kinnan overall perform for you in the tournament? How did it feel in that kind of environment?
So, my main feelings throughout the tournament was that there was a very, very heavy stacks meta. And usually, with Kinnan decks, stacks metas aren't your friend. But I noticed in a lot of the games I played in the tournament, the stacks decks were just that little bit too slow to keep up with the speed of Kinnan. Unless they were getting very, very early stacks pieces turn 1, turn 2, a lot of the time I was able to just power through early before they could start to lock the table down. There was also the case of, with Kinnan, although it is a fairly well-known deck, a lot of people tend to see the mid-range Kinnan version, the list made by Higher. A lot of people are used to that, so this version, where it's a lot more turbo, I feel like people underestimate how fast the deck can really go, so they tend to not play around like me going for turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 wins, stuff like that.
Yeah, normally Kinnan sits in like mid-range control a little bit longer, but Collector Oof, for example, is a very common hate bear currently.
Yes.
Which basically shuts you down completely.
It makes me very sad. There is ways that I can get around it, although the ways that I get around it aren't very nice. Obviously, we have the removal cards, we have the bounce spells, we have the Pongify, we have stuff like that. Usually, though, in situations where I'm getting locked down by artifact hate, I will just grind for value and use the Kinnan activations as a last-ditch kind of like crutch. Compared to some other Kinnan lists, I do tend to run a few more creatures over artifacts, simply to have more of an even split between my mana production, because when a Collector Roof comes down, if I'm stuck with only artifacts, it's not a great time, so I want to try and have that kind of mix as much as I can. With Collector Roof, I feel like in a lot of the games where I've come up against the Collector Roof, it is a situation where I feel like I can deal with it better compared to something like Stony Silence, which is something that I need to start accounting for more, because the enchantment removal does tend to be harder for the deck. Mainly down to the fact that stuff like Nature's Claim got removed early on in the building of the list. So then again, though, we do have the inclusion of Beseiju, which is a godsend. I was so happy when that card got spoiled. It made my life so much easier in terms of, I was like, oh, I need artifact enchantment removal. I need more of it. Oh god. Oh wait, I'll just swap out a basic. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, your commander is always gonna be in play, so you're always just paying 1 green for it, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with a 2 CMC commander, the likelihood of you not having Kinnan turn 2, if you're not having Kinnan turn 2, you're not having a great time.
Yeah, but looking at your deck list, it's 14 creatures only. And
yes.
we did a small calculation. There are 2 humans here, so you have 12 potential hits from Kinnan.
Yes. With this version of the deck, Kinnan isn't used as a value piece necessarily. He is a combo piece, 1000%. The extra mana production, allowing it to be a 1-card combo with Basalt Monolith, allows you, your goal isn't to produce a lot of mana and do Kinnan activations, it's to produce infinite mana and do infinite Kinnan activations, because then you are always whether there's 1 target or 50 targets, you are guaranteed to hit all of them if you have your infinite mana. So you're always going to hit your Thrasios, you're always going to hit your Hullbreaker Horror, you're always going to hit your Seaborn Muse, you're always going to hit your Prophet of Distortion. So there is no real worry when it comes down to it.
I'm guessing that once you have infinite mana, you are just using Final of Devastation. Well, you first put all your creatures into play and then just overload that thing.
That is one of the possibilities. Usually actually a way that I found that is a bit more reliable, because one of the issues can be with Finale Devastation is a lot of the infinite mana lines in the deck give you the infinite mana, and if you move phase, you're going to struggle. You'll either be limited then to colorless mana, or you just won't have access to the mana anymore. So Finale Devastation gives a opportunity, however slim, for people to interact before you can kill them. My general go-to is actually using the Draw X spells, so Drain and Dreams and Stroke of Genius, to finish people off, because it is target player. So there is very little anyone can do once you have targeted them with the Drowning Dreams other than counterspell, and by this point you have presumably drawn your deck, so you are going to have every counterspell available to you. There's not much they can do.
The normal path is that you get your infinite colorless mana, then you get your Phrastis into play, you draw your entire deck, and then...
Yes. Yeah. So like it's the one that I just like to do. It's realistically a lot of the time any pod you're playing at, they see infinite colorless mana, and then any way to turn that into card draw or colored mana, and they're like, yeah, nah, you got it, you're good. Like, I'll be completely honest, I could take out all the win cons, people probably wouldn't notice, and they'd concede before I.
So you basically say, okay, I have Basalt Monolith Kinnan, I have infinite colorless mana, and you sit there and wait for them to scoop.
Yeah. I'll be honest, with my experience, not a terrible idea. I feel like it would probably work. I would say I could get through a solid 10 to 15 games before anyone actually asked me to play it out.
You know, I gotta actually tell a story now. I heard there was a Legacy. Well, Legacy actually had Flash Hulk legal for a time period in our store. Yes.
Ooh,
I think it was like
fun.
1 month. And during that time, they gave the deck to a new beginner, and they just told them, just cast Flash and Hulk and you win. That's all you need to know. And it worked. Everyone just conceded, and in the last part, someone said, okay, play it out. And he sat there, and eventually for like 30 minutes, okay, I don't know how the combo works, I concede myself.
There was a point actually when I started playing this deck where I didn't actually know what the win was after infinite mana draw your deck.
You're the same thing like I just described. Flash Hook, and I don't know how it works.
Like, you know you can win, but back when I started playing the deck, it was like, how do I win? But you know, it's been resolved now. I now feel like I am very well versed in all the possible lines, because sometimes you don't have access to one card, so you're gonna have to use a different card and blah 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 blah. So I like to have the variety. So I have the Drowning Dreams, I have the Stroke of Genius, I have the Finale Devastation. There is also the Icecrown Scepter Dramatic Reversal in combination with a Phyrexian Metamorph with a Swan Song. So do your whole make infinite swans. By like cycling through every spell in your deck.
I don't know if you need that. I mean, going back to this is making
It's a case of this can be your, say if your Finale Devastation is gone, your Drowning Dreams is gone, your Stroke of Genius is gone. This is a way for you to present a win by, I have infinite birds. It's very much not a thing you're looking to like dart for. Like, you're not like, I'm gonna go as fast as I can and try and assemble ISO Rev plus ISO Swan Song. But it is a backup for the wild situation of everything else is gone, because Dothy Voidwalker is very much a card and likes to get rid of my win cons.
But everyone who's watching this video, remember, force him to play out the combo here, okay? I mean, actually, I think we talked about this before, but Stroke of Genius is actually pretty interesting in the part where if Kinnan is generating infinite colorless mana, but not generating colored mana, if you have just one pip of blue, you can still draw your deck.
Yes. So with this version, so a lot, you'll see it in some other Kinnan lists, they'll be running Pull from Tomorrow or the Blue Sun Zenith in their decks as their spell-based draw your deck spells. And my issue with them has always been the multiple colored pips of mana. With Stroke of Genius and with Drowning Dreams, the one blue pip matters a hell of a lot more than people would think. For example, game 1 of the KaOs tournament, turn 2, I assembled Basalt Monolith with one colored mana left, and that turn I had top decked my Stroke of Genius. Without that, like, I had, if I'm not mistaken, I had Thrasios in hand, so I had the outlet in hand, but I didn't have the green extra colored. Yes.
Yeah.
So Stroke of Genius enables very tight wins early in the game. When you're going for the win so early, a lot of the times you're spending all of your mana to just get that Basalt Monolith out. So like, say turn 1, you get down a Mana Dork and a Mana Rock. And then turn 2, you get your Kinnan down and you have access to 4 mana. With that 4 mana, you play your Basalt Monolith, you only have one colored mana left. So it's a situation of like, the situation situation will come up a lot more than people think. So I think there's no justifiable reason to run Pull from Tomorrow or Blue Sun Zenith if you're playing a Kinnan list that is trying to go as fast as this one, because you're realistically, if you're ever casting it for not infinite, you've lost the game effectively. If you're that late into the game where you have the mana to just dump into it, you're drawing your 3 or 4 cards, you're not having a good. So it's not a draw spell for any situation other than when you're in it effectively, and using it as such is generally not something you want to be doing.
So your Kinnan deck is literally on focus on winning. When you're starting to activate Kinnan, your game isn't going according to plan.
Yes, 100%. Obviously, there are situations where what you can do is, if you're in the mid to late game, you have your 7 mana plus open, and you have interaction, where there are situations where what you can do is you can just play the game of pass the turn, hold up your interaction, wait for it to get back to you, activate Kinnan end step. If you miss, you miss. It's not the end of the world. Just go to your turn, untap, see what you draw, and then just do it again and again and again until you get to a point where you either hit something spicy off of Kinnan, or you've drawn into a way to go for the win. So there's use in the Kinnan activations mid to late game, but it's not something you're looking to be doing.
But you do have the Worldly Tutor to manipulate what you do have on top of your library.
Yes, one of my favorite kind of play patterns in the deck is get to your 7 mana. Like I've actually done it. It was turn 2. Turn 1 I had dumped out my hand basically. It was just mana rocks, mana doors, like mana crypt, mana vault, Fellwar Stone, Arcane Signet, all just dumped out of my hand. So turn 2 I was playing Kinnan, and I had 7 mana left over. I had 8 mana left over, and I was able to just go Worldly Tutor, Seaborn Muse to the top, activate Kinnan. You can't stop this. You can't stop the Seaborn Muse coming in. Because the great thing about Kinnan activations is it's a way to cheat a creature into play without people being able to interact with it. So a lot of the time what I've found is people are very wary to counter tutors in cEDH, because you don't counter the tutor, you counter what the tutor's getting. And with Kinnan, you're able to use your tutors not to get cards in hand, but to get cards to cheat in with Kinnan. So let's say, for example, a good play pattern that I have seen is holding your mana rocks back, casting the Worldly Tutor, and then playing the mana rocks, because then that even if somebody is like, oh, this Worldly Tutor is going to get a big scary thing, he has 7 mana, he's going to cheat it into play with Kinnan. Even then, if you hold back the mana, you can then just I'm just going to Worldly Tutor. Yes, nothing to worry about. Oh, okay, yes, grand, that's resolved. Okay, so I'll put this Consecrated Sphinx at the top, mana crypt, mana vault, and some other mana rock. Look, 7 mana, activate Kinnan. Seaborn Muse, who would have expected it?
The beautiful part here is that if they actually start counterspelling your mana rocks, they're counterspelling mana rocks. Still, the card is still on top. You're gonna draw it next turn.
Yep.
But I have a question for you here. You're saying all the time that you're tutoring for Seedborn Muse, but I mean, Hullbreaker Horror, isn't that winning here? Oh no.
The thing that I found with Hullbreaker Horror, I am very down on Hullbreaker Horror ever since I've started playing it. My issue with the card is that it is effectively, you are usually in this deck anyway, you're looking to go combo quick. So Hullbreaker Horror is technically a combo piece, but the issue with it is it's a 3-card combo piece that requires you to repeatedly cast spells, which is something that I really don't enjoy. So with the Hullbreaker Horror, so for those who are unfamiliar, with Hullbreaker Horror, you can do loops with mana positive mana rocks to, so your Soul Ring, Mox Amber, you have Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, all those. You play one, bounce the other, tap the one you just played, play the other one, and loop the 2 mana rocks, tapping them each time, infinite mana. This strategy, though, is very, very weak to Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, any Rule of Law effect, you're just not even attempting to go for it. You have the ability for people to interact with counter spells before you have assembled your infinite mana. You have even stuff like Root Mace will stop you from doing it. So although the utility of Hullbreaker turning every spell in your hand into a remand / unsubstantiate bounce spell basically it's for 7 mana, you want to be winning the game in this deck or getting a hell of a lot of card advantage. So
I have a question though. I mean, we can bounce this thing. If you're getting Hullbreaker Horror into play by a trick and then casting, let's say that Mox Amber, the first thing you target is the Archon of Emeria.
That is at least what all the primers are telling me when I read Kinnan primers.
The issue with that is then it requires you to have another spell in hand for you to cast to start the chain. And by the time you're getting a Hullbreaker Horror down, you're either have so few cards in hand because it's the mid to late game and you've dumped out your mana to get 7 mana to play the Hullbreaker Horror, so you don't have enough cards in hand to actually start the loop. Or it's a case of you have enough cards in hand, but if you have enough cards in hand, the likelihood of you not having a way to win that's a lot easier is very unlikely, because there's just a very high density of this one card will get me to the win. Like, all you need to do is just get to Basalt Monolith or get to get to Isochron Scepter, Dramatic Reversal. There's all these two card or 1 card combos with Kinnan that Hullbreaker Horror effectively being a 3 card combo, I'm not sold on.
I see, but it's also like it's even though it's a free card combo technically, it is working with a lot of different cards still.
Yes. So you could argue then that it's effectively like you have 7 cards, 8 cards, 9 cards, however many it is, that are part of the can be substituted in for the combo. But all of those cards that would be involved are cards that you're looking to just dump out of your hand early to ramp you to your win, not stuff that you want to be holding in hand. Like, you don't want to be holding a Mox Amber in hand while Kinnan's on board. That is going straight into play. You don't want to hold your Mana Crypt. You don't want to hold your Soul Ring. Your mana, you are dumping all the mana out. So with the Hullbreaker Horror, it is just on the edge of being cut, and all I'm waiting for is a situation where I end up with Hullbreaker Horror in hand and it does nothing for me, and it is a dead card. And if the next time that happens, it will most likely be getting cut. For what? It's kind of up for debate. I'm thinking, like, I've been looking at the mid-range Kinnan, and I've been looking at the Void Winnower and the Wanderer Archaic, and it's very close to it. I'm very tempted, but
this is a great card.
It's such a great card. I absolutely love it. The funniest thing about Wanderer Archaic is that it gets better the higher power the table is, which is something that I love about some cards. Like, I've played it in casual, and it's good, but like it's just having a random 5 CMC creature just be so it's just such beautiful value in cEDH is just something that I love. Like, being able to play a 5 CMC creature in cEDH and it not just be like a weird combo piece is it's a wonderful feeling. So it is something that I will be considering for the deck. Whether or not it goes in, I'll have to wait and see. But for now, we're sticking with Hullbreaker Horror because if I take Hullbreaker Horror
there. If you take it out, every Kinnan player is gonna hate you.
Yes. So it's such a I've brought it up in the Discord for Kinnan.
How much?
I couldn't convince anyone that it wasn't worth it. I just couldn't. But I can't convince myself that it is such as good of a card as everyone says it is.
I mean, honestly, first of all, I'm disagreeing with you. I think you should have this in the deck, but you should do you. I mean, you should go with the kind of play style that you think are suiting you, how you are optimizing and playing it better. Because in the end, you will play your strategy that you know to your own core, to your own heart, better than playing what other people are telling you to do.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, for example, my version of Kinnan, my version of Kinnan was originally actually it started off as the Twister Loop version from the database, and I played it a bunch. Was like, oh, I'm not really feeling this card. It's not my kind of vibe. I'll swap it out for this, and then I'll swap it out for this, and just over time, slowly kind of converted the deck into my deck, and that is something that I would highly. I feel like every cEDH player should be looking to do this.
Yes.
Because just grabbing a list off the database, and this is not to say anything bad about the decks on the database, is sometimes you're kind of trying to put the square into the circle hole kind of situation. The decks on the database are kind of it's a basis, I feel. They're the base that you start with, and then you mold your kind of play style on top of it, adjust a card here, adjust a card there, and build a deck that suits you. And this Kinnan deck is the deck that 100% suits me. It is super fast, super combo-y. It's super greedy because it's like, oh, you're ad nauseum. Basalt Monolith. I can't counter that. I have to play my Basalt Monolith. It's very much a, I'm just gonna sit here and Simic go burr. You can do your thing, that's fine, but I'm just gonna sit over here in my special little corner.
It's solitary solitary confinement.
It is what it feels like sometimes with the deck, because you're just sat there like on everyone's turn, like, oh, I could be interacting. Okay, so how do I get to Basalt Monolith?
So you're playing an equipment inside cEDH. I have a feeling it's not Voltron.
Yes, so this is a new bit of spice that I have added to the deck. With the spoilers coming out for New Capenna, a lot of exciting cards, a lot of stuff people talking about, the various different things for you have the treasure production stuff, all that stuff. People are, there's a lot of fun stuff in the deck, but as soon as this card got spoiled, I saw it and I was like, it's just a tasty card. There's a lot of text on it about planeswalkers, okay? And I feel that's distracting a lot of people, I feel. Talking about, oh, equip this to my planeswalker and make it into a creature. Oh, and it has 7 loyalty, so I'm going to hit you for 7. Oh, this is great, blah, 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 blah. But it can't equip to a creature. And as you can see on the card, equip creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. You know, a very kind of famous card. And it's played in Modern, played in Commander. Recently actually had another card that comboed with it, because apparently it combos with everything. With it was that Flash Aura from
Swift Reconfiguration.
Yes, so in a similar way, it is the Luxior Giada's Gift. I'll be honest, my pronunciation of it is probably wrong.
I'm not.
Luxior Giada's Gift is it goes infinite with Devoted Druid, because the -1/-1 counters being put on the Devoted Druid are counteracted by the equipment giving it +1/+1 for each counter. In the same way, Swift Reconfiguration was able to make it not a creature, so that the -1/-1 counters are irrelevant. I'll be honest, Selesnya having a 2-card 3-mana infinite mana combo, it's not fit. Nah, not allowed. That's Kinnan's thing. That's Simic value engines. That is, how dare another color try and steal that from me. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna test it out, see how it goes. The thing that I like about it is, compared to, because the Luxury Giada's Gift was put in over Pemin's Aura or Freed from the Real, which are another kind of common Kinnan infinite combo kind of plan, simply because it is a equipment. It is a artifact, and this deck loves its artifacts, and it loves tutoring them up, getting them into play. You have a variety of tutors for it. You have Urza Saga, Reshape, Transmute Artifact, Fabricate. Our one planeswalker that it technically can work with, Tezzeret, the Seeker, can fetch it out as well.
However, at this point, I think you're using Tezzeret to find Basalt Monolith, but still. I mean, theoretically, let's say Basalt is in your graveyard.
I have had my Basalt Monolith exiled a few too many times.
I can imagine that happening. I mean, people are running this Force of Negation.
Yeah, no, it's getting Basalt Monolith Force of Negation is not a fun experience. But anyway, the Luxury Giada's Gift, we have the tutors already in the deck that get it. For Devoted Druid, we have our Green Sun Zenith, we have our Finale Devastation, we have Worldly Tutor, Sylvan Tutor. We have ways to get all of these cards. So I was like, you know what? Pemin's Aura Freed from the Real, while they will combo with any Mana Dork and Kinnan, any Mana Dork that produces blue and Kinnan, the fact that they're not tutorable by anything in the deck already, or I even think in these colors, because getting enchantments in Simic is not something that I think is possible, or at least easy. The play pattern that I'm kind of envisioning is your turn 1, your Mana Dork. Your turn 2, play your Devoted Druid. Turn 3, you can play down Kinnan, and then your Devoted Druid taps for 2. So you can tap it for double green, then play Luxior, have a green floating, put a counter on, put a -1/-1 counter on it, untap it, tap it for 2.
What's happening here?
And then you have your 3 mana for your equip, and then you start your untap, tap, and get your infinite green mana. And one of the
it's
problems,
perfect on the curve here. Like the equipment cost 3 is spot
curve.
on.
Yeah. One thing that I have heard from Kinnan players that I've talked to about the combo is a lot of the complaints are just, oh, it only produces infinite green mana. What are you gonna do with infinite green mana? And I was
We've been
sat
over
there,
this.
I was sat there and I was like, so So this deck, the entire thing is just Basalt Monolith, okay? I feel like green mana is slightly more useful than colorless mana. So the infinite green mana, yeah, you have Finale, you have your Green Zenith. Like, it is... If you could get to a win...
If we're already capable of winning from colorless mana, this shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, 100%.
It actually brings up another card I think we should talk about, Mirage Mirror. Because some people actually misunderstand how this actually works.
So, Basalt Monolith Mirage Mirror, it is kind of the infamous... some might say, combo in pretty much every Kinnan deck. The plan, the way the whole thing works is you have your Basalt Monolith and your Kinnan, bloop, I have infinite colorless mana. We all know how that works. Then Mirage Mirror. The fun thing about Mirage Mirror is your ability to stack activations of the Mirage Mirror above each other. So what you do, you float your infinite colorless mana off Basalt Monolith. Then you activate Mirage Mirror and you target Arcane Signet or a land. Or just anything that produces a color, basically. You can target mana dorks, but just make sure that your Mirage Mirror didn't come into play that turn. I have actually been caught by that. We'll forget about it for now, though. So you activate Mirage Mirror, target a land. You hold priority. You activate Mirage Mirror, target Basalt Monolith, hold priority. Activate it again, target your Arcane Signet over and over and over. Just build the stack infinitely high. And then you have first one resolve. It'll become an Arcane Signet. You tap it for a mana. Then the one below will resolve, and it becomes a Basalt Monolith. Oh, I have infinite colorless mana. Guess what I can do with that? I can untap the Basalt Monolith. Now I have an untapped Mirage Mirror that is a copy of Basalt Monolith. Oh, what do we have below that? Another Mirage Mirror activation. It's now an Arcane Signet. We tap it for mana, then it becomes Basalt, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap, tap. And now we have converted all of our lovely colorless mana into whatever color of mana that we would like.
And fun fact, you can do the same thing with Devoted Druid, because you can put -1/-1 counters on the artifact Mirage Mirror. So, what do you think about this opening hand? I personally don't like it.
It's an instant mulligan. Part of me, because I see the Seaboard Muse, I see the Thrastia, I see the Ice Conceptor, I'd be like, maybe I ponder into a mana crypt, and then I get a dramatic reversal, and then I make my infinite mana. It would be tempting because I'm a greedy person, but if this is your first 7, you're throwing it away. It is there's not enough gas. You don't have your ramp. You don't have your get your combo piece tutors. So yeah, that is a big old mulligan.
This one looks better, but
yes.
But you're lacking lands.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna have a turn 1 bird with a turn 1 Mox diamond.
Yes. So this would be another one where I'd be very tempted if, say this hand on second 7, I wouldn't keep it just because there are a lot of 6s that are a hell of a lot better than it. But if this is my mulligan to 6 or my mulligan to 5, it is a 100% keep because you're going turn 1 Mox diamond, discard the treasure vault, Birds of Paradise. Turn 2, you have your brainstorm to dig a little bit. Worst case scenario, you play your Kinnan and your 4 mana on turn 3, 5 if you have your land. Then you have your Seaboard Muse. You have kind of outs, basically.
Yeah, this feels like it's getting somewhere, but it's risky.
Yeah, it's one of those that if you top deck a land, you're having a great time. This oh baby, do I love this hand. Okay, so we have no interaction.
Who cares?
And no combo pieces, but
who cares?
You have a hell of a lot of mana, and that's something that I love to see. So that's
and and something to dump the mana into as well.
Yes. So you're realistically with this. So what? Your turn 1 player rejuvenating experience, Mana Crypt, Arcane Signet, Mox Amaranth. Yeah. So you're dumping out literally your entire hand bar land of the Drowning Dreams. Turn 2, you play your second land, you play Kinnan, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana after playing Kinnan. You
can draw 6 cards turn 2.
You can draw 6 cards on turn 2. Just fully refill your hand.
Yeah, you're probably doing that.
This is the dream. This is the kind of hand that I actually just dream about. It's beautiful.
You play Magic to draw these hands, right?
Oh, 100%. It's what I live for.
I think this is a almost hand in a game that you predict could go long, right? Because of the Ristic Study and
no.
I mean, you have the tutor, you have Counterspell, you have Ristic Study.
So my issue with this hand is there is no ramp. However nice the Ristic Study is, you're doing nothing with this hand until turn 3. yes, you can play Kinnan on turn 2, but you have no mana rocks to play up to kind of benefit from it. Your Fierce Guardianship, yes, you can play Kinnan turn 2, hold up the Fierce, it's whatever. Your Reshape, you don't have an artifact to sacrifice to it. It's going to be, if you're going for your Basalt Monolith, you're looking at, it's going to be 5 mana plus sack an artifact, so you are very far off of that. So this would be another just mulligan straight away. If you're really down on cards, it's maybe, but most situations you're saying no. This, however,
looks like good.
This I like. So you have your land, pedal, turn 1, and then you can go turn 2, Kinnan. You have the pedal that can sack for 2. You have to play the Arcane Signet for permanent mana. You have Treasure Vault, which one of the greatest things about Treasure Vault is the fact that it itself is an artifact. So for your Reshape, you have a sack outlet. Obviously, it might not be something you necessarily want to do simply based on the fact that Treasure Vault is a infinite mana outlet. It gets you your infinite colored mana because infinite treasures. The Git Probe, free redraw. It allows you to get the information, see what your opponent, see what like your kind of scariest opponent is doing, gauge what your general plan is going to be here, whether you want to play Kinnan or not, whether you want to go for the Reshape as soon as possible, stuff like that. This is a hand that I really, really like. How
about this? Lots of interaction, ramp, and a card draw for 4.
Yes. This, funnily enough, if this hand had a colorless producing source, I'd be a lot happier.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh no, yeah, it doesn't. You can't activate Profit of Distortion.
Yes. Even then, though, I think this is a pod dependent hand. If you are playing in a pod where you look at the other side of the table, people are going to be playing kind of heavy interaction or turbo decks, this is certainly something you can keep. You have Pongify, hit a creature Swan Song, target something, you can blow up whatever. Force Negation for emergencies on the first turn cycle after you've tapped out for the Llanowar Elves. This I do like, but depending on the pod, it would be something that I would consider mulliganing if let's say if I was kind of last in rotation, or if I was at a pod where it's a bit more of a stacks situation where I want to be going more turbo, and it was my first 7, I'd think about mulliganing it, but it's good, but there are a lot of better hands in the deck.
Like this one.
This I do very much like.
We have a muddled mixture that can tutor for something. We have ramp. We have some interaction as well.
Yes, so this one I like because you're getting what you're going to be doing with this hand is playing land, Mox Diamond, Kinnan turn 1. Turn 2, you're going into it with a 4 mana, which you can use 3 of it for Muddled Mixture and hold up a Swan Song and hold up a Fierce Guardianship. The Muddled Mixture, you are looking at getting your either Reshape, your Transmute Artifact, which will turn your Mox Diamond into a Basalt Monolith, turn it into Luxior's Giada's Gift, something like that. There is a lot to like about this hand.
Now we've touched the surface of Kinnan basically here, but if people want to know more detailed questions, if they want to dig their teeth and discuss Hullbreaker horror and things, where is there a Discord server for Kinnan?
Yes, there is. You can find the Discord server. It'll be in the description of the video. Lots of people on there who are as obsessed with Kinnan as I am. You can discuss new tech. You can talk about various different builds. Ask for people's deck list. Show people yours. Get input. Talk to people. It is a lovely Discord. I'm reasonably active on it. So if you ever want to talk to me about my Kinnan list, you can definitely find me there.
Thank you much for coming here, Danny, and sharing your Kinnan expertise and also talking a little bit about Hullbreaker horror. It's not often, or actually it's like never, I hear a Kinnan player saying it's questionable.
It is certainly a spicy opinion, but thank you very much for having me on. It was lovely getting an opportunity to talk about my version of Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. For all those watching at home, I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, thank you very much to the Mons for having me on.
It was a blast. Take care, everybody. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.